Hey there, teachers. Pastor Bill here. I'm up here and about to meet with someone about our steeple. And so be praying about that. But today I wanted to bring you some more thoughts from chapter 3 of Teaching to Change Lives. And Howard Hendricks is one of my favorite writers. I mean, I've really just enjoyed this book, going through it now my fourth or fifth time with you. And he brings some good ideas in his chapter called The Law of Activity. Now, you probably already thought about this, but it's a principle and then basically two thoughts that I can bring to you. The idea is that the more of a person's faculties that you can get involved with a particular teaching moment, the more likely they are to remember what they've heard. Now, there's sight and sound and taste and touch and sight, sound, and smelling, right? So I remember, I don't know if you've had these opportunities, but I remember going on train watching trips with my father, and I remember being at a certain railroad crossings, and I remember smelling tar from the railroad ties. And I didn't know why that was. And then later on in my life, I smelt that same hot tar smell, and it would take me in a flash back to the moment when I was with my dad, so short I'd be looking at his waistline on a train watching trip. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that when we create opportunities for memory triggers, it's a positive thing when we're trying to get them to remember what we've taught them. It's a very positive thing. So we want to ask questions and we want to create an environment. That's why I've said we should dress up our classrooms. Maybe we should find time on one of those days off instead of going and doing what we want to do that might be called a hobby. Maybe we actually come in with a bucket of paint, or we make, or we put a picture up, something, visual aids, something, so that the teaching experience, which is markedly different than the preaching experience, is memorable. Now, I have room for improvement on this. I know I do. And the good news is that we have time to improve everything we're doing. So maybe we ought to give that some thought. So we have the idea of getting people's senses involved. Seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. What can we do to accentuate the learning environment in which we are? And now I do want to recommend that we realize that there's a grand difference between telling people solutions and helping them find them. So as it comes to application, the more formal the setting, with the more numerous participants, the less ability you have to ask for congregational feedback. Usually in the preaching time, it's limited to, are you with me? Are you with me? Say amen, holler, raise a hand, something. But you can ask questions and help people, and that's kind of like adding a sixth sense, and that is engaging the mind. So we need to be asking ourselves, is it just me talking at monotone? Or am I doing something to make the teaching experience, the learning experience, memorable? Thanks for listening. Hey, don't forget, if you're out of town, let me know so that we can make sure you have good coverage in your class. Appreciate it.